Greetings from Lipscomb University. I am so glad your son or daughter will be a Lipscomb student, and I wanted to take a few moments and share with you just some important messages and some personal thoughts about the college experience that is upcoming. This is an exciting and, challenging year in higher education, but I don't want the challenges to be something that keep the dreams and aspirations from happening. Much has changed. Much has changed in our world. Your high school student understands that, as high school was also changed. And while we're acting in compliance with all of the government regulations and while we will continue to follow those protocols, the reality is there is disappointment. There is a sense of fear. There is a sense of uncertainty. And yet, in spite of all that, there are great plans ahead for your Lipscomb student. We have an outstanding faculty, and they're still ready. Some new ones are coming. Our academic program is in full swing. The student life personnel are working diligently every day to have a full and robust program next year. The same thing that will happen any other year, we hope will happen next year, and we want you to be a part of it. And so my announcement is simple. It's that we plan fully to be open in August. We plan to start the semester as a residential university, and while something may derail that, I want you to know that's our plan right now, and we're making provisions for anything that might happen, but we want that to happen for your Lipscomb student. I want you to look for the Lipscomb Guidebook app. That's an app you can download, be on your phone, and it will give you information, updated information constantly about the transition to college, all the information we think you will need. I want you to also think about the reality that your son or daughter can attend summer school at Lipscomb. If they want to get started early, that's completely possible. Our classes will be all online this summer, but they'll be taught by the same full-time faculty with the same curriculum that we have always used in our educational program. And I want to share with you something that I'm particularly interested in. I had an idea, and we hope it will work, the president actually teaching a class to all the new students. I've entitled it, Surviving and Thriving in Uncertain Times. And I've assembled to help me 9 outstanding faculty, and I've invited all of the new students to join us, and we can do that because we are online. Every morning I'll introduce things, and we'll have several substantive sessions. We'll have a wonderful moment from our College of Arts and Entertainment. In the afternoon we'll have small group discussions. And those discussions will not only take place in that week in July, but those discussions will continue all the way until school starts. And perhaps most significant, the class is offered without any charge at all. I'm simply going to write off the tuition so that we can get started in a more profound way. I know you're concerned about health and welfare, and so are we. Certainly, our entire world has pivoted and changed, and we know the tragedy of the virus, and we know that there are those that are being courageous in handling it, and we can anticipate that when you bring 1,500 students back to a campus or 6,000 students back into an educational program, somebody better be watching carefully and doing the right things. We will have a little bit later a new director of wellness and health for the university who will be an expert in public health looking at all of those dynamics, and that person's work will be highly influential in what happens between now and August. We will probably require people to do things like have a flu shot. There's a great correlation between the people that don't get the regular flu and the beds that are available in hospitals for the more serious virus. And so we'll be asking everybody to engage in some preparation that will make just lots of sense. And we'll have new protocols so that if someone has a temperature, they'll go right to the health center. In a matter of minutes, they will be diagnosed, and we will, if they are sick, put them in some kind of protocol that will isolate them until we know how that's going to be managed. We want the student body to be well, and we believe that there are ways we can pull this together so that you can have confidence, and they will, in fact, have a sense of good health care. Beyond that, I know that people are concerned about finances. This is a tough time in our country in terms of the economic picture. It's a tough time in terms of people, some of whom are losing jobs. It's a tough time because we just don't know. And for some, well, their temptation would be to say, let's just not do college this year. We've put together in the last few days a new financial aid process. So if there's a problem with financial aid, one can move through kind of an emergency review process literally in days and look at what else might be available and what else could be offered so that that challenge is overcome. We also will think about how we can, with our normal policies, stretch and modify them so if something happens in the middle of the semester, your student doesn't have to leave Lipscomb. We'll accommodate and we will help so that this mission and education process continues. Rhonda and I put 3 kids through college. We put 3 kids through college. I was a professor and it wasn't always easy financially, but there's no investment in our lives we would make of more significance. There we were thinking about, well, they needed to be educated and prepared for their careers, and we hoped desperately they would take a sense of faith into their lives. That can be accomplished. It can be accomplished with your Lipscomb student as well. I was walking through the campus a few moments ago, and it was quiet. There was no one here. I'm actually in the Welcome Center. I wanted to see this picture because this young lady is what we envisioned for your Lipscomb student. The joy of celebration, the joy of commencement, it's about 4.5 years away, but we're looking forward to that happening. So what would I wish for you? Well, I guess these blessings. May you have great moments as you celebrate your student's high school career. That only happens one time. Savor the moment, celebrate the graduation, even though it may be virtual, and let your student know how proud you are, because it's that student who will now come and do something even more profound in their college years. May you find peace and some sense of confidence in this transition. Yes, we tend to be somewhat uncertain, but we believe that with hard work and thoughtful approaches, that in fact this can work well. And may you feel a sense of God's presence and God's providence, that would surround you even in a difficult world. We wish those things for you. I'll be back in about a month with another update. I look forward to meeting you in the fall and a wonderful experience, meeting perhaps your student at our class in the summer or when school begins in August.